Hey guys, Andrew here, just back from the Hobie Fishing Worlds on the Gold Coast last week. So I was able to become World Champion Angler for 2019. This is just a quick video to explain how that happened, how I caught the fish, what the competition's about, and say thanks to a bunch of people. As with anything good that happens in your life, it's pretty rare that you would be doing it all on your own. So that's what this is about, so hopefully you'll enjoy. So last year, through various qualification procedures, anglers were invited to compete on the Gold Coast for title of World Champion Angler in the kayak division. So people travelled from 5 different continents, 18 different countries, assembled on the Gold Coast, where they were supplied with factory fitted Hobie Pro Angler kayaks, which were fitted with Lowrance sounders, power poles on the back, and Scotty camera mounts on the side. So what the competition was, we have 2 days of pre-fish where we got to go out on the broadwater and practice, try and find what we were going to do for the weekend, work out our areas that we're going to fish in and how we were going to go. And then 3 days of competition starting at 7 o'clock in the morning and concluding at 2:30 in the afternoon. So the target fish was brim. So the procedure is you go out and catch your brim, put them in the live well behind you, which is just essentially a container with a pump on it, so you can keep the fish alive. Take them back. As you catch a bigger fish, you get a bigger fish than what you got in the back, you throw the little one back, put the big one in the back, and take him back and weigh him in. And then at the end of the 3 days, the person with the biggest weight becomes the champion. And fortunately, that was me. Anyway, so what this video is about is just to, like I said, say thanks, teach people a little bit about how I did it. Sitting here in my lounge room, which looks like a tackle shop blew up, it's not probably the greatest place to explain how to catch a fish, but certainly you might be able to get a little bit out of it that'll help you if you want to go and do it yourself, or if you want to come and compete and have a go. I mean, 10 years ago, I was just an angler out there on the weekends like anyone else. These competitions started up, and you know, from there I've been able to travel up and down the country from sort of Melbourne to now Gold Coast, across to Western Australia. I've been invited to China. All of this through just going out and having a fish with some mates. Anyway, I couldn't have imagined how this would have turned out 10 years ago. It's certainly blown all my wildest dreams away. I never thought I would leave the country. Well, I hit 40, never left the country, and I think it was about a year later, or not very long later, I got an invite to China, so just through kayak fishing. So I'm just going to quickly go through and list out the sponsors. As we go through, I'll talk a little bit about the ones that I guess I have something to say about. So we've got lure fans, like lures out of China. So Scotty, on our kayaks we had the camera mounts, which is something new they've gone into. Rail blazers, same sort of things, they make racking systems. So Gerber, they supplied us in our welcome pits braided line cutters, these pliers, which I'm supremely impressed with. I don't know a pair of pliers anywhere near the quality of these. I wish I had them a couple of weeks ago and I had a hook in my finger and needed to cut it out, but anyway. And a knife that I reckon you could probably kill a bear with that, so I look forward to using that. AFCO power pole made the make the power poles on the backs of our kayaks. So what the purpose of that is, it's like a mobile anchor. You can hit a button on a remote around your neck, and a spike at the back of the kayak goes down into the sand or mud or whatever you're working on and holds your kayak in position. So it just enables an angler to stop and fish a flat, or just anchor up, or if you're messing around with your fish and you don't want to drift off your spot, just an easy, convenient way to stop your kayak. And definitely, if anyone that's fishing shallow water, this really converts into fish, because you can stop, you don't drift over the water you want to fish. Really brilliant product, a bit of a game changer back in the day, like it's been out for a few years now. Lowrance sounders. On our kayaks, we were fitted out with Hook 7 sounders, which have side imaging, down scan, GPS, and all that sort of stuff. That was particularly when I was fishing deep water. It enabled me to, first of all, see what was going on the bottom. I could see the fish coming through. There were times when I was pointing out to Maddie, who was on the boat, mate, there's fish down here everywhere. It's like, just give me a minute, I'm going to have one in a second. You can sort of see them coming through. So brilliant product. The GPS meant that we could see, you could mark your trails and see where you'd been, mark hot spots or where you caught fish and all that sort of stuff. Certainly helps you to locate your kayak. And yeah, once again, brilliant product. And then Daiwa, naming sponsor for this Worlds, and I think the next two coming up. They presented us with reels. There's various different ones. I got a 3000 Caldia, which is, I don't have a 3000, so that's pretty cool. Really high quality reel, plus some J-braid, which is awesome too. So they can spool that up. And equally a double clutch, which I'm going to use for chasing some flounder. But anyway, apart from that, I know they obviously helped out with just getting this competition up and running. So hats off to Daiwa. Okay, so that covers all the sponsors at this point in time. So with the lure fans, they also presented us with a bunch of lures. So they're worth checking out. They've got a range of lures that now, they look to me like they're going to suit our brim down to the ground. So jump online, check them out, lure fans, get on it, have a look, see how you go. Okay, so day one of competitions, I'd not had a great pre-fish. I had found fish, but I decided to just go back to what I know. So cranking flats is something for me that I've done a lot of. So I took out my Atomic Crank 38 in matte black, which is a special one out of fishing.com.au, and I was able to catch a fish in about the first 2 hours, which wasn't particularly impressive, but you know, first fish in a Worlds is pretty cool. After that, I decided to head to the deeper water reefs on the northern side of Wavebreak Island up on the Gold Coast. So the reason I'd done that, I'd seen fish a month earlier when I'd been up there to fish a competition. I'd seen them on the sounder during the pre-fish, but not actually fish for them. And I just thought over 3 days, my thoughts were it was going to hold up better than the canals and any specific spot, which was potentially being hammered once, twice, 3 times, 10 times a day. Like the trawlers got absolutely flogged. So while it's a great place, if it gets flogged, it's not going to last. It's not going to hold up. So that was my plan, to go and fish the deep. I headed out. I started off with the range vibe. So fishing 5 to 6 meters of water in current. I decided to use this as it sinks fast. It's a nice little profile. It's got a gentle, like a pretty soft vibration. I've caught lots of fish on it before, and I just figured I'd have a go with that. Now day one, I brained them on these. They really liked them. I came with 0.207, so I was really happy with that. Definitely after day one, I thought maybe I'm a chance. Like I definitely held my own. Day two, I started with the same lure. I started off with the range vibe and fished that for a while and got a couple of fish. Then I figured I'd go down to the smaller lures. So started off with the VX40. Once again, a tried and tested lure, and I've gone for the smaller one rather than a VX40. I've gone for the 35. Just because I think the fish haven't seen these as much as what they would have maybe 5 years or 10 years ago. So something that they're not used to. And then down to a duo bivvy. So this bivvy weighs about 2.5 grams or something really light. So in that water where you've got 5-6 meters of water, lots of current, it was quite challenging to get this down there. But my thoughts were, if I got it down there, it was small enough and easy enough for a fish to eat, that I would get the bite, which proved to be correct. So the technique with this little guy was throw as far as I could up current. Normally I'd try and fish cross current. I just think you cover a bit more water a bit better. But because this is so light, the current was moving so fast, if I threw it out to the side, it was just getting too far down beside me. So straight up current. As soon as it hit the water, I count the 30 and to let it get to the bottom. Now, reason 30 was basically 6 meters of water, 5 counts per meter. I knew that I'd be at the bottom or very close by the time I kind of put some pressure back on the line. After that, I would lift it up, raise it just a little bit off the bottom, then count to 10, let it sink back down. Once I got to that point, I was trying to keep in contact with the lure as much as possible, which is definitely easier during the slower current points. Anyway, first cast with this lure, I pulled in a fish, and that kind of changed things for me. So day 2, I was sitting second again after Jack, and with, I think Simon was in third. So coming into the last day, I was 240 grams behind Jack, 150 grams in front of Simon, and it was, yeah, game day. So where it all gets real. So anyway, this day, straight to the reef. I'd gone out, fished once again with the bivvy, with slow results. I was sitting there watching Simon out to the side of me. He had 4 fish. He'd already upgraded before I'd even caught a fish. For me, they didn't turn on until about 9 o'clock. So we'd paddle for about 45 minutes. I'd fish for about an hour and 15 minutes without a fish. Once I got my bag, once I got one fish, they kind of fired up for me, and I got my bag and then got my upgrades, and then I had about 2 hours of really good fishing, upgraded, and yeah, ended up having 3 fish over 30 fork, which was my goal. So I hit my 9 fish for the comp. So then we, so the other things that were important to me during the comp is I had my Sax scent. So Sax scent's made by Mark Saxon up on the Hastings River in Port Macquarie. He's a local guide up there. I was using the crab one, which I can't find. This one's the gold prawn, but I had that around my neck, and every couple of casts I'd put a little bit on my lures so that I could, I just think this makes a difference. Sometimes the fish are finicky. I think this makes a difference in some cases as to whether a fish will eat a lure or not eat a lure. Yeah, so look, go to your local tackle shop, have a look for some of this stuff, put it on, have a go. You're talking less than $10. If you catch a fish, to me it's pretty worth it. The other thing you can do with Mark is if you don't know how to catch a fish, you want to catch a flatter, you want to catch a brim, learn how to cast, whatever you want to do, go and catch a duo, caught a number with him, go up and see him. It's on Port Macquarie. Castaway Estuary Charters, you'll have to look it up. But give him a call, tell him Andrew sent you, and go and give it a go. I fished with him last week, caught a dewey, it's fantastic. Obviously I don't really need to go and fish with a guide. I can go and catch my own fish, but for me, I just have a fun day. I just enjoy fishing with him. So once or twice a year I try to get up there and have a go. So you should too. All right, so in terms of rods and reels, for the whole weekend I use Miller rods and mostly Daiwa reels. I do have a Shimano, so I use Miller rods and Daiwa reels, but it predominantly was the Miller rods. This particular one, I've got a Daiwa Silver Wolf on it. The reason I choose Daiwa reels is because the main reason I swapped over to Daiwa reels is I believe the way they wrap the line on the spool gives you less fluff up. So when you're using this ultralight gear, I just think that they just cast better, and to me that was key. Having a reel that tends to fluff up and get wind knots in it can be just devastating today, whether it's competition or just messing around. Now, my Miller rods. I've only just come to start using Miller rods in the last sort of 18 months. And now I've got a full quiver. I took out all Miller rods for the whole comp. So a few things that are key to me on these. First of all, they're just really light. They're really light, really balanced, really nice to use. Kayak angler, they've got a short butt, so that's not sticking into your stomach. And the other thing is the feel. When we're fishing anywhere, but particularly on the weekend where the water's so deep and fast current and all that sort of stuff, just being able to feel it felt like the fish were just rattling the lure. You know when to hit it to try and set the hook. I believe this converts into fish. So if you haven't got a lot of money, save it, buy yourself, and start with just save some money and buy one of these. Really worth the effort. My Smith pincers, just awesome for little gear, and I don't know who puts these out, but these little pliers are actually cheap pliers. They're kind of disposable. I wear them out and break them, but the reason I use these, I do everything with them in a comp. I can change split rings here, I can cut braid, I can pull hooks out with them. So to be able to take one pair of pliers, it pretty much does everything. I love them. I buy them 4 or 5 at a time, put a few in the cupboard, a couple in the kayak. When they break, I get another pair. So you can grab those at fishing.com. So my scales, my Jamie bought these for me, I think 2 Christmases ago, and they came into their own on the weekend. Programmable scales, you can record your weights, allocate a number, and it just gives you the ability to be able to tell whether one fish is bigger than the other. So absolutely critical in a comp that came down to 30 grams, so 10 grams a day, so such a minute amount of weight. One error would have probably meant a different result. So absolutely critical. Culling balls. The only thing I've done to these, I put a smaller clip on them and I have numbered them so that they correspond with the scales. So that pretty much gets through the gear. The only thing I guess it's worth stressing is just the technique that I used, was just cast as far as you could, up current. I was counting to 30, so I'd count to 30 before I'd try and feel the lure. So just letting it go down on a slack line. Then still allowing the kayak to drift back with the current a little bit, because if it stayed still by the time you count to 30, the lure's too far behind you. So let yourself slip back a little bit. Then lift the lure. Then I would slacken it back off. Try to keep contact with it, but definitely let it go a bit slack. Count to 10 and just repeat until it loaded up. So yeah, with such a light lure, it's certainly a patience game, and it doesn't always work. And I'm sure there was times when my lure wasn't getting to the bottom. But all right. In terms of tackle sponsors, now Adam Costa, fishing.com.au is Adam Costa from fishing.com.au is an absolute legend. Now, I met Adam a few years ago. Turns out he was running an online tackle shop and lived across the road from where we could see each other from our balconies. The kind of guy that I just clicked with straight up. So he supplies nearly all of my gear, like 99% of my gear. It's rare that he hasn't got what I want. Specialist brim shop. Gets his orders out fast. Yeah, jump on his site and have a look around, see what he's got. Like I said, a specialist brim shop. I've been in. Anyway, Adam, you're a champion, mate. Thanks for all your help. I appreciate it. Okay, so to all the international competitors, thanks for coming out, enjoying our country. I hope you had a great time. We certainly had a great time seeing you. Some of you did really well. Nate and Tyson, good job, guys. Absolute pleasure getting to know you guys. Okay, to the Americans, you guys are all great. It was just a pleasure meeting you all. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you at the next one. So yeah, to my mate Tim Percy, my roomie, my buddy, mate, absolute pleasure sharing a room with you. You didn't complain when all my stuff just blew up everywhere, and yeah, it was just good. I think we've fit together really well, and mate, it's just a pleasure meeting you. Hopefully we do get that Worlds on Lake Sinclair one day, mate, and come see where you catch a fish. To Boom Boom and Finn, you guys are like a mobile party. Yeah, you guys are like a mobile party. The place gets going when you guys get going. So the Aussie team. So for those of you who don't know, the Aussie team had to qualify through a qualification process. Your best 5 rounds, your highest amount of points got you up there. So what that means is the guys that are really on form for the last year got to compete. So it means that we're competing against the best. Yeah, I've said this before, and I didn't think I could take the likes of Chris Hickson and Richard Summerton, not together, maybe one out each, but both of them. I thought one of them would get up, and I was just waiting for that slingshot pass on last day where one of them brings out a 2.9 kilo bag and just goes straight past everyone. Getting up into the pointy end of the field, Jack Gammy, mate, you did so well. I feel for you leading day 1 and day 2 and not being able to get there in the end. You did yourself proud, mate. Good job. You carried yourself with grace, and good job. Now to my mate Simon Morley, I'll just take this off my little fish. So not sure how that looks, but mate, to come 30 grams within it, 10 grams a day, yeah, it's such a close contest, and mate, it was a pleasure fishing with you, and yeah, I'll see you at the next one. I'm sure. I think you're right up there. So mate, yeah, thanks. It was good to fish with you, good to paddle back, and good for you to hurry me up on day 2 where I was just cruising, and you were like, mate, we need to hurry. So that was really helpful. I'm going to put this back on my fish, who for the moment I'm going to call Simon. Then to the staff, the guys that helped us out, all the Hobie staff. So we've got some international people. I hope I get them all. So obviously Morgan and Giro and Tim. Yeah, thanks guys for hanging out. I knew who you guys were, but not really met you. So pleasure meeting you. Morgan, mate, I need that video. Where's the video of me getting sprayed with champagne? Anyway, just put that up for me. The Aussie crew. So if we start with Maddie and Bill, you guys last day particular on the camera boat when I was just pumped, catching fish, trying not to get too excited because the blokes around me. I didn't want to know that I was braining them. So yeah, mate, it was good to see you guys there. Maddie, been a friend for a long time now, been overseas together. Hey, champion bloke, thank you. Jim Barry, hey, what a legend. It's known you since the Southern Brim days when you were like the main man down there. You and Amy were always good to myself and Stewie. So yeah, mate, champion effort. I'm glad you're up there with us. Thank you. My main man, Chris Purnell, like the man bear. Edward Spanner hands. Mate, champion. I know that you're tight with Simon. Yet every day you're still there. Come on, mate, get on with us, and encouraging me. Yeah, I appreciate that. So yeah, I think we're getting down to it. To just a quick one back to Richard and Tanya, both you guys as well. So much encouragement for me, particularly, or both of you. But Richard, you're competing against me, but still going, come on, man, you can get this. I appreciate that from someone. I appreciate that from someone like yourself. So Stewie done, mate. We've been fishing together for years. Realistically, you've taught me a lot of stuff that I know. Like I probably wouldn't be on top of those lures if you didn't put me on them. So thanks, buddy. Bobby and Tony, our media guys, you guys just nailed it. Having you guys there to take photos and get all that stuff up, it is just awesome. Now I know Bob designed the surfboard, which is just an absolute treasure. A lot of guys have asked whether they'd use it. There's no chance that's getting waxed up. Yeah, that's just a beautiful piece of artwork. So thanks Bobby, good job. Now to the Fishing Monthly crew, we had Jamie and Nicole and Steve. You guys just added an extra element to the coverage. It meant that my family could watch and see what was going on, and you kind of hyped it up and made it fun for everyone. Great job. I saw a post today, Steve Morgan saying it's not every day you get to have a photo with the world champ. Well, I gotta tell you, it's not every day that Steve Morgan wants to have a photo with you. So thanks, buddy. And finally on to Steve Fields, the driving force behind this competition. There's not, like I said on stage, there's not anyone in the country that I know of has done any more for kayak fishing than what you have. So great job. I mean, in 2007 when I bought my first Hobie, obviously didn't know who you were, but I had no idea where this would take me. I mean, I've been able to fish all around the country. I've got mates up and down the East Coast. I've been to Western Australia fishing. I've been to China twice to go fishing. It's absolutely amazing. So who knew that just, buying a kayak would present so many opportunities. When I bought my first kayak, it without a doubt, it changed my life. But first Hobie, I had a kayak before that, but once we got the pedals and fishing became easy, I actually dropped out a lot of the other stuff I was doing. I was doing surfing and kite surfing and then a little bit of fishing, and then it went to all fishing. So without a doubt, it changed my life, changed who I am. So yeah, get on a Hobie. Just go and get it, have a go. Don't worry about buying a cheap one. Just go and get a Hobie. And finally, just down to the family. So just down to family, mum and dad, definitely doing it tough. I was just so grateful. Mum and dad definitely doing it tough. I was just so grateful that you guys could share, you could watch it. I mean, you can't get any better than that. If you can't be there, you're watching it live. I'm glad you got to experience it. That was really cool. My brother and sister, once again, always been there, whether it's on the end of the phone or being there in person. So equally to Lisa, who's equally part of our family, thank you. You're equally always there, so I appreciate that. Okay, so here are my two daughters, Jamie and Regan. This is not really them. These are mushins. So both girls were watching the live streams and cheering me on for home, and without them, there would probably be no point. So thanks, girls. And with that, I think that's it. I'd just like to say thanks again, and I'll see you in the water.